So here we are with the what's next portion of our truck build. So got our our air springs, airbags, everything's all tacked in place, axles, link mount, everything's good. So next up we got to actually locate this axle side to side. We're going to use a Panhard bar for that. Now essentially what a Panhard bar does is one end of it attaches to the frame, the other end of it stretches across, attaches to the end of the axle, so that way it keeps the axle centered as your suspension cycles. Now, I say centered, just like in the sense that the 4-link works, the axle will move. It will, you set it up where it's fixed on the center, where when you're basically at ride height, you want your wheels centered. So then as it comes up and down, it's obviously gonna move in and out just a little bit from your center line. Obviously the longer your Panhard bar, the less it moves in and out because the longer your stroke. Now where I'm setting up to put mine is, I want to weld it right along the edge of the frame here. I'm also going to stretch an ear of it all the way inside here and weld it to this inner cross member. It's going to have an ear that will come down here, and then we'll weld one in here and put a bolt with a heim joint that'll come straight across here. It's going to go underneath our pitman arm. It's going to hang down about 3.5 to 4 inches. It shoot right across there. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to do just like I've always done, which I've already done, and I'm going to make me a cardboard cutout. So you see how this works here. I've got it taped together for where my bends are going to be. So my plan is that it will sit up here just like this, weld in place. Now I'm hoping that I can actually make this all out of one piece, mark these bends in place, and break this one piece over, because it'd be stronger if I can make it all out of one piece. And it looked really cool too. Now, is that actually going to happen? It's a good question. I only know one way to find out, and that is just to go cut the steel and see if we can get her done. So, we've got our template. Let's go draw it on some steel, cut this thing out. All right, this is not the end of the video, so do not click off. I'm about to give you some very important information about what is the actual catastrophe that I commented about or posted about on the thumbnail for this video. So, probably asking yourself, why is he holding a half-burnt Marshmallow Man right now? So, this guy I got when I took my family to Disney World, the Christmas of 2021. And this guy, my son won this for me. I thought he would be cool. His name is Reginald. I named him Reginald. I thought that was kind of cool. I still think it's kind of cool. Except for Reginald got me in a little bit of a spot. So, New Year's Eve 2021, 2022, 2021 turning over. I'm sitting on my couch and a buddy of mine from work is texting me back and forth and about what he's doing. I'm telling him I'm taking it easy. I'm just sitting here on the couch having a beer with my buddy Reginald. And he said, Reginald? Who in the world is Reginald? So I lean back and I take a selfie of me and old Reginald sitting on the couch, hanging out, having a beer. Thought it was pretty funny. I sent the text to him. So as you guys already know, many times throughout this process, my phone would get full of data and I'd have to stop recording and transfer files and things like that. So I set up my trash can on my phone to where my videos, when I delete them or pictures, they don't go into a trash can. When I delete them, they're gone. Because if you don't do that, whenever you delete something, it sits in your trash can for 30 days and it still counts into the storage of your phone, so you can't store as much content. And as everybody knows, I keep a backlog of content. So, long story, still long. take this picture of Reginald. So basically, as I take pictures and I don't need them, anything I don't want to keep, I just delete as I go. That way it gets, you know, it's out of my phone and it's gone, no big deal. So I take this picture and I send it to my buddy, and then I'm talking to my wife, you know, I'm talking to her at the same time, and I go, oh, I'm gonna delete this picture right quick. It's just a habit of going through and delete the picture. So I go through, I see the picture, bang, click on it, I hit delete, my wife says something, I look away, I look back, and as I look back, I realize that my phone's doing something. And as I look down, I realize that it says 146 videos deleted. And it has a thing there where you can click cancel, or, you know, continue, or where you can click cancel right before it completely clicks all the way off. And it was at that moment I realized what I had done, and I tried to click cancel. And as I clicked cancel a trillionth second late, it was done. And the videos were gone, because remember, I do not have a trash can, so they just go. Y'all have to excuse all the racket. Apparently my dog is running around going wild upstairs. So on that New Year's Eve, to send a picture of me and Reginald, when I went to delete the picture of me and Reginald, I did not delete that one picture. I selected the entire file that was 146 pictures and videos that I deleted. So there is a large chunk of content for building this truck that is just gone forever, and unfortunately it's a part that I knew a lot of people were going to want to see, and that there would be a lot of interest that I wanted to show to everybody. And you know, unfortunately it's gone and I can't retrieve it. I've tried. I took the phone to AT&T, I went everywhere I could think of to try it, and there's no way I could get that stuff back. So basically what I lost was the majority of building up the front suspension. So unfortunately, you know, I knew, like I said, I knew it was going to be a large chunk of content that a lot of people were going to want to see, that I really wanted to share. I do have some still photos. I'll put them up right after I get done telling you all this. I have a lot of still photos of what I did kind of finishing it up. The truck right now is not in a spot where I can lift it up and show you all that front suspension. It will be here very soon, and we will circle back so I can show you every bit of what I did, what we haven't covered already. Building the Panhard bar. We had to do some cool stuff with the knuckles to get the steering low enough to clear the frame rails, and things like that I really want to show you. That there's some cool stuff that I definitely think people can use to their advantage to build something similar to this in the future. So when I get the truck to that point, still got to do a couple things on the front. Still got to put 2 brake lines on it, and I still got to figure out how to put shocks on it. Haven't worked that out just yet, but I will. We will. No worries. So we're gonna pick it up now with the footage from where I started back filming with this camera, the one we're using right now, which is like a camcorder that I use when my phone gets full. I believe we're gonna come in somewhere around when I was running the airlines to the front bags. So we're gonna come in there, and like I said, I'm so sorry that I did lose all that content. I promise you, I was sick at my stomach for weeks trying to find a way to recapture that content, and it was just gone. But we'll come back to it. I'll show it all to you. I got everything for the rear end. We're good to go. We'll come back, and at the end of the day, I'll fill you all in and talk about everything we did, and I'm still going to show it to you. Still going to share it with you. So thanks for hanging in through this little rant. I do still think Reginald is pretty cool, even though thanks to Reginald, I caused myself a whole lot of heartache. So back to the video.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarded.
All right, y'all, so here's our current situation. My phone keeps getting full, and I'm having trouble balancing the amount of data that my computer has versus what my phone has. They're both full at the moment, so forgive me. I'm on my backup camera right now, so I can keep working on this thing while I keep, you know, backlogging content for you guys. So you saw me working on trying to put that air line in that passenger side, and I mean, it went pretty smooth. It did the same as the other side. The camera ran out of storage, which didn't really matter because you couldn't really see that much what I was doing anyway. So let me show you kind of where we got. I got the line all ran, so let me show you where we're at currently. All right, let's climb up our trusty ladder here. And you see down in there? No. Let me get a flashlight. All right, so let's see if I can get in here and show you what we're working with. So there you go. You can see our line running over in there. You can see it runs underneath. Let me see if I can get you. So it runs underneath the air box and all back through there. Let me see if I can get you here where you can see. Let me get my light in a good spot here. See if I can get you down in here where you can see what's crack-lacking. All right, there's your good view right there. So you can kind of see, let me move our light here. You can see how it runs back and down, just the exact same as the other side. Ignore that strap that's around it right there. But it is tightened into the fitting. It runs back and under the cab just the same as the other one did. So let me show you what we got up next here. So now we're gonna move on. I gotta run a line from, I gotta run two lines out of this air pump right here. One's gonna be our supply line. One's gonna be just gonna have a breather coming off of it. I'll show you that stuff here in just a minute. I'm gonna have to take a long hard look at this thing and see just exactly how I wanna run that line. Probably gonna run it down there. You can see our other line right there. Probably gonna run it straight off the back. I think I'm imagining just kind of running it straight off the back and down to the outside of the frame rail because I got a amount of dryer and stuff on it. The other one, the filter, it'll just kind of stub off right here off the back or the top or the side or wherever. It'll be short. It doesn't have to be very long. So let me go over here and kind of show you what kind of filter setup I'm working with. All right, so here we are back at our whiteboard here. I know my last drawing was pretty super awesome. No, I do not do family portraits, so don't contact me for that. That ain't my lane. So, I know, right? All right, so I'm gonna try to, illustrate what my plan is with this other compressor. Now, I did just realize that I don't have the intake charge pipe on that passenger side, and it's kind of right where I just showed you with the camera looking down behind the compressor. So I'm gonna put that back on to kind of get a good idea for how much room that I actually have. So what we've got is, we've got our compressor right here. Now it has two ports coming out the top of it, okay? Now this side is our pressure side, and this side is kind of gonna be our intake side. So what my plan is right now, if that pipe will allow, is to come straight off the back. Then we're gonna bend it down. Mind you, this is looking from the top, but how it's gonna go down anyway, what I'm thinking. So, okay, from the top, so we'll come with our filter. So basically we gotta come up out of each one of these and come into a 90-degree fitting. I'm doing a terrible job of this. Let me try this again. All right, here we go. Try this again. Okay, so compressor, bam, right here. You have a pressure side and an intake side. Now, like I said, on the intake side, we're going to come out and go into a filter, which is this little guy right here. Cool little K&N deal that I got off of Amazon, I do believe. Now you see I got a couple of fittings here. So we're gonna go into the top of the compressor and we're gonna do a 90 and come straight out of the top of it. Now it's got a 3/8 port coming out of the compressor, so I'm adapting that up to the right parts that I need to go into this filter so I could get, the right size nipple to go into the filter. And then basically on the pressure side, we're gonna come up and we're gonna go 90 and go into a compression fitting for the the supply line that's gonna go to the air tank. So you're gonna come up, and just for the drawing's sake, we're gonna go toward the front of the truck with the filter. Now, I'm not going to the front of the truck for the filter. I'm either going to go to the side or go straight back and keep it as short as I can. So now for the other side, we're gonna come up. Okay, we're gonna 90 out right here. We'll have our compression fitting like that. All right, so then my plan is to just keep it simple, come out, turn it down, come through to the outside of the frame rail, like if our frame was running through here. I want to come to the outside of the frame rail, just kind of run parallel to the frame rail on the outside. Now the reason why I'm running on the outside is because I have to put a dryer on it to dry that air, because as that air comes out of here, it's hot, it's going to cool down as it comes through here. As it cools down, it's going to make condensation. So hopefully we're going to have this water separator and dryer on it right here, and we'll be able to separate any water before it gets to our tank. So for right now, we're going to run this down, run it along the frame, figure out exactly where I want to mount my water separator, and we'll kind of stub the line right there for now, because mind you, my big goal right now is just to get it so I can get my front end put back together, get it down off the lift so we can do the suspension work on the rear of the truck. So, but while I've got it on the lift, I'm going to go on and run these lines because I want to put my steps on it. And once I put my steps on it, I can't get my lift arms under the truck anymore. And I'm going to need the steps on it so I can set my final ride height for the rear when I air the thing all the way out. All this obviously will make a lot more sense, you know, as you see me doing it, as you see it coming together. I'm just trying to kind of give you an idea of what my end goal here is. Probably be a fair bit of time lapsing because it's really dark under there, and I can't. I'm only one person. I can't hold the camera right against where I'm working as I'm doing it. But you know, if I come up on anything neat that I have to do or anything like that, obviously, you know, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna narrate. I'm gonna show you what I got going on. So, with all that being said, let's get up in here and see if we can't go ahead and start getting some fittings put in. Obviously, these fittings, I'll probably just put some liquid sealant on them just to keep water and stuff out of them. These fittings for this filter don't really matter. They don't have to be airtight. It's just kind of sucking air in anyway. Now for the other stuff, I do use Teflon tape where the fittings tighten into stuff, but obviously it's a compression fitting from there. So the stupid thing, as long as I get it good and tight, it should seal up good. So let's get to putting some fittings in this compressor. All right. So, all right. So here we are. This is our high side. This is our low side. This is where we're going to put our filter. This is our pressure side. So I've got, you see, I've got our 90 here. I've got our male fitting to go down in here. I've got it two-sided taped up going to the 90. I don't have it two-sided taped up where it's going to go into the compressor, because for mock-up right now, I'm gonna have to screw it in and out a couple of times, and I don't want to screw up my tape and have to keep retaping it. So I've been kind of looking at it, and I think right now my best bet is to come right over to about right here, then go straight down, and I'm gonna kind of come to just above where the other airline is, and I'm gonna bend it back, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to go to the same hold down that I've got tightened up right now that's holding the other airline. I want to try to come off that same bolt and just put a second holder, that way the two lines will be right there together. So that's my goal right now. So I just got to measure from here to about right in here where I want to be, and basically we'll just come straight off. We'll put us a 90-degree bend in right there. Then I'm going to measure down to here, kind of get a rough idea of you know, how far down I need to come before I make my next bend, which will not quite be 90 degrees. It's hard seeing back in there, so I'm not 100% sure. Basically, a lot of this right here is going to be just kind of getting it close and kind of bending it a bit on the fly and kind of moving it in place, but I'm kind of trying to give you an idea of what I'm starting with here. This fitting was tightened all the way down. I'm hoping is going to clear. It looks like it's a little bit lower than that other intake charge pipe, so I'm probably going to have to close the hood here in just a minute and make sure this guy is clearing. The hood's got a little bit of bracing up in here, but I think if I come over and go down pretty quickly right in here, I think I'll be okay. I'll be kind of right in the range of how high this is, so I think if I get to about right here and go down, I think I'll be okay. So I think about 7.5 inches is going to be where I want to be. So like I said, I'm going to put a 90-degree bend in. I'm going to come straight down. Then once I gonna probably get another tape measure or something. I'll get a straight edge and put across the top of this and try to measure down and see where I want to be for my next bend. This one's gonna be a tough one. I mean, obviously once I get this part taken care of, the rest of it underneath the vehicle, they're just real gentle bends that I can do by hand pretty easily. But I just got to get this part right here right, and then sticking it up through here is going to be a real pain in the butt. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that just yet. So I'm going to get a straight edge, and then we'll come right back and we'll measure down and see where that second bend is going to have to be. And also it's going to have to kind of be, so if I come straight over and then bend it straight down, it's going to have to almost be at like a 45-degree angle from this. So that's going to be really tough. I'm just going to have to kind of eyeball that. So I'm going to get a straight edge, measure this, and then bend some tubing, and we'll come back and kind of see what we're looking like. Okay, so got my piece of tubing bent, and so I'm gonna try to see if somehow I can stick it through from this side, and start with the long end, the straight end, and go through, and then somehow kind of wiggle it and kind of force it into place where I want it here. Not 100% sure how that's gonna work out, but let's give it a try and see. Nothing else, it should be entertaining, because this thing is about 7 feet long. So let's see, where am I going? And getting it to go over the stuff that it needs to go over, under the stuff that it needs to go under, is the trying part here, because I can't really see anything. Well, I appear to be hitting something rather solidly. Let me get the bottom, see what I'm hitting here. Okay. This is definitely going to be tougher than I had thought. Well, I'm making headway. Let's hope to God it's right up top. Okay, so, well, you can't see it, but I do have it started where I want it to go. Now, the plan from here, hopefully I can push it down through there. Okay, now I see one problem already, and that is this line is kind of in the way. Now, the one upside to this is I can take it loose right here if I need to kind of flop it up out of the way. I'm more than likely going to need to do that, but let's try and just see if we're even close yet. Hey, this don't look too bad. I'm gonna go get a 13 right quick and we'll pop this off. I might be even closer than I thought here. Good thing I didn't already gas up the AC, huh? Alright. See if I can, somewhere I can put this nut where I'll definitely lose it. Right there, looks good. Oh, I'm so close. So if I could just get over the damn thing. Now, one of those times where I kind of hate that I already got it all. I want to see if we can unplug this. Maybe that'll help. I think it will. Okay, here we go. Now, let's get this laid back down in here. All right, so the first thing I notice is that the bend that's at the bottom that's turning it back to go down toward the frame rail, that bend is actually pretty good as far as, you know, the degree of the bend. I've been on a 45, but I definitely should have made it a little tighter because you see where this is. So what I'm actually going to try to do here, so my end game I think is going to be right about here. So I'm just going to kind of try to force it, you know, gingerly into being where I want it to be. So I think I'm going to start by kind of flexing it toward the outside a bit. All right, because right now where it's hitting is right where I've got the other airline, you know, where I was talking about where I'm going to put that clamp on it. So that actually bent around that pretty good. So I think that's going to work nice. So I just need to, basically I've got to kind of come back and kind of bring it around here. So I'm going to try to hold the bottom of this thing stable and see if I can't get something going here. Like I said, luckily this aluminum bends pretty easily. Obviously I'm going to have to cut some off of this to kind of get it sitting where I really want, but I'm feeling pretty good about that right there. That's actually really nice. I like that a lot. I think that is going to work. So what I'm going to have to do is I'll make a mark right here and I'll get my tubing cutter and we'll get that cut right quick. And I've also got to get a holder and put down at the bottom down there to hold it in place. That way I can make sure everything's good before I lock this down. So I'm gonna go get my cutter and my pen so we can mark this. Alrighty, so my light's in the other room charging up, so put this in here like this. So I guess I'll start. So I'm gonna make my mark because I know that my line is going to extend all the way to just about where the hex is, you know, on this fitting. So I'm going to go on and kind of make my mark in the line of that hex fitting right there. Basically I'm going to go ahead and make this cut so I can kind of stick it in there and get a good idea of where I'm at. Then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take loose the clamp that's down there because I'm going to use the same bolt that's holding the other airline. I'm going to use that same bolt to use a clamp to put on this one too. I'll go on and get it clamped in place while this line is stuck in there. That way I can kind of, you know, move it and make sure everything fits how I want from there. Then I'll go on and kind of bend it. We'll bend it down along the underside of the body on this side to kind of take it toward where I think we're going to be to put our water separator. So let's get this jewel cut here. Now, use my super old-timey tubing cutter here. It's old, but it works. I don't even know where I got this thing from. I've had it that long. Now, I always try to cut it, you know, a little bit long the first time or two, because obviously it's better to cut it and leave it a little bit long than cut it and have it short, because you certainly don't want to have to start all over again. I mean, I don't really care too much about what the cost of the tubing is. This stuff is pretty cheap. I bought it from Summit Racing and it wasn't expensive. I think I got it in those 25-foot rolls and it wasn't bad. Now, a key thing when you are cutting this tubing, especially with aluminum, is not to try to don't try to crank it in too much at a time. Just take it a little bit at a time, because if you try to go too far with this softer tubing like this, you'll kind of crimp it. You'll bend the tubing. You just want it to cut really slow. And with steel tubing, you can be a bit more aggressive with your cuts. But on this aluminum tubing, you want to really kind of take it slow and just let the cutting wheel make the cut on the tubing. That way you don't put a little crimp in it. Now you see it sticks in there just like that. Now I'm not going to put I'm not going to go ahead and put the ferrule in there or anything just yet. I'm going to kind of leave it like that, which I actually really like. It looks pretty nice. So I'm going to go down on the bottom. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to go on and put a clamp on it with it kind of holding in place like this right here. I'm going to go ahead and put a clamp on it and kind of snug it in place. You know what I might actually do? I think I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to grab the ferrule and the nut that goes right here on it. I'm just going to kind of slowly tighten it down, just kind of snug it so it kind of holds it where I want it in place right there. Then we'll go ahead and kind of clamp it, because that way if I have to do any kind of bending or anything down there to get it in the clamp just where I want, this is all still nice and flat up here where I like. And I'm just hoping like hell right now that it's going to clear this hood. I think it will. Man, I hope so. We're gonna find out the hard way because I'm just gonna shut it and see. So let me go grab a ferrule and the nut for this right quick, and we'll come back and we'll snug this on there. All right. So for those of you who don't know, that little jewel right there is our ferrule. This is our nut. Now, basically the way this works, you slide, well, the nut goes on first. The nut has got a collar on the inside. You slide that over. You slide your ferrule over the end of your tubing here. You want to slide it and make sure you get it all the way in to your fitting here. Like I said, right now I'm just making sure it's running in there nice and straight, and I'm going to ease it in here by hand. I'm not going to tighten it. I don't want it to actually crimp just yet, because it squeezes down and pinches, you know, squeezes down on the tubing there. So there, I got it. It's kind of holding snug where I want it to. I like where everything's sitting right here. Everything will plug back in, go really nice. Super happy with all that. So now I'm going to jump down underneath and going to put that clamp on, and then we'll come right back. For you, it's just going to be like okay, so I got my clamp all good and tight down below. Got my light charged back up here so we can see now. All right, so now let's see. I'm gonna go in and take the nut and the ferrule off, and I'm gonna kind of pull this away because it should pivot just enough so that I can go on. I'm gonna have to put some Teflon tape on this, and then we'll run this on down in there, get it nice and snug, and then we'll come back and we'll do our filter that goes in right here. So first things first, let's get this guy out of here. Went on the clamp real nice down below. Everything's good and clear. I believe all that's going to be super swell. Now I just got to get this off of here and get it pulled out of the way. Oh, that actually went quite nicely. All right, now maybe we'll get some two-sided tape, put on this joker. All right, now for those of you that don't do a lot of stuff like this, this is going to seem like something really simple. And for those of you that do a lot of it, this is going to seem stupid, but you don't know what you don't know. Okay, there is a right and a wrong way to wrap two-sided tape. Okay, so we're going to tighten it, and as we tighten it, we're going to turn it to the right. Okay, so when you wrap this with two-sided tape, you want to wrap it just like this. You want to wrap it looking at you. You want to wrap it clockwise from the bottom of the fitting. That way, as you're tightening the fitting in, it's turning with the two-sided tape, because if you wrap it this way, as you tighten it, it's going to want to kind of unwind your two-sided tape, and it makes it a big ass mess. So when you wrap it, let's see if I can do it right here in front of you here. And some people say, oh, it only takes 1 round, 2 rounds. I don't have a specific amount that I like to put on there. I wrap it up until I just feel like I've got enough on there. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, maybe it's 3. I don't really have a particular, but you see, like I said, you're gonna wrap it going clockwise. I like to pull mine pretty snug as I do it. No particular reason, just, I don't know, I feel like it should be. Nothing special, no frills, no thrills. Wrap her up. Try not to overlap your tape down over the end of your fitting, because that could possibly drop down into your pump or whatever you're doing and cause you to have a bit of a debris issue. So, and then when we tighten her down in here, like I said, it won't be a problem. Crap, forgot my wrench. Let me go get my wrench. Now, as far as tightening this, how tight does stuff like this go? Personally, I don't know what the rule of thumb is here. I've always just kind of treated it like a lug nut, you know, you put it on there until you just know it's good and tight. So I'm gonna snug her on down until it's, you know, like right now it's feeling pretty tight. So at the very least, I'm gonna just kind of get it right around here to where it lines up where I want it to, and probably call it good. And then Whenever this thing starts moving air the first time, if there's a leak right here, well, I'll take it loose and yeah, I don't want to take it around anymore. How we feel with that? Feel pretty good, I do believe. All right, so you just saw the science to how I do it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, I don't know. Look at that, it goes right in there. We'll push our ferrule down on there. Now, you shouldn't have to put any sealant on these threads because the sealing is all being done by your ferrule as it tightens down in here, right there. So you shouldn't have to put any sealant on those threads. You could put a little dribble drabble of Loctite or something if you want to. They make thread sealant. I mean, if you just wanted to put some Teflon tape on there, I guess you could. I don't reckon it would hurt. That's not the right size. I think I had a crescent wrench over here. There we go. This is all the 16ths right here. That's what it is. So back to what I was saying. If you just wanted to put some two-sided tape on there, I guess you could. So right now, I'm just gonna kind of snug this. I'm not gonna completely clamp down on it. I'm gonna go underneath and kind of make sure that I get my line bent down my frame rail the way that I want. I'm sorry, kind of fit it to the underside of the body the way that I want. It's really tough to get underneath there while I'm doing it so you can see it, so I'm not even gonna bother to try. It'll be more frustrating for both of us probably. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get that done and get it loomed, and we'll come back when it's all done. I'll kind of give you a look at how it all looks. So now it's kind of snug and in place. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move on to our filter on our low side here. Let me get my plug out of it. All right. So I got this guy ready to go. Ooh, it is gonna be tight. Maybe not. So I guess I probably could have waited to go on and put the hose barb in it, but it'll be what it'll be. I can get it. I'm thankful. Woo-wee! It's just barely clear. It's just fitting right here. That would have been bad. I put Teflon tape on the threads of this because the head on this pump is aluminum, and that Teflon tape will act as a bit of a lubricant. Anybody that knows anything knows that you always put some type of lubricant on aluminum threads whenever you're messing with them, because if not, whatever you're tightening into them can and will gall up, and if it galls up, it's a wrap. You're gonna have to pull the head off this thing, and it's gonna be a real big mess. So right now I just gotta kind of figure out, I guess I could put this hose back on and I could plug this plug back in, because I'm done with that. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, that worked out really sweet. You know that hood's gonna hit this thing, right? There's no way that hood's not gonna hit that. That went way too well. We hit it on the first shot. So I'm thinking right now, maybe I just pull this around and kind of zip tie my filter right there. I think that'll actually work pretty good. Kind of be out of harm's way. Not a lot of debris and stuff coming in right there, so I can tighten it just a touch more. There again, this does not have to be sealed up or anything special at all, really. I mean, and I cannot get this on there. Let's see. Open him up a little bit. It's not very tight. Take it just a little bit more. So this doesn't have to be super sealed, because there again, it's just a filter. It's not going anywhere anyway. So kind of got it running pretty much parallel to this hose right here. And we just got to figure how long of a piece of hose I want to put on it. That wouldn't be bad, I don't think. So let's see here. And that's not too bad. Almost would have been cool if I had like a 45 and just kind of stuck it over here. It'd be kind of long though. I guess I could have put it like that. That's not bad either, is it? Or do I run it like this maybe? I kind of like that actually. Let's turn that around there and see what we get. We got plenty of room to tighten it. I guess it would suck if I ever had to pull this hose off or anything. Cause I always try to leave things as serviceable as possible. I mean, I can get that hose off with this line still on if need be, because it will go underneath it. But if I do turn that all the way over top of it, I guess I could still get it off because I could go under it. Well, let's turn it around here and see. I'm just kind of thinking out loud at the moment. It'd be close. Let's see. Not bad. I don't have really any way I could zip tie it to it though, because this is pretty easy right here. Might just run with that. That looks pretty good actually. All right, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead, slide this on. I'm gonna go find me 2 hose clamps for this. We'll hose clamp this guy on. 2 hose clamps here. I'll get it put on underneath and we'll come back and I'll show you how it all worked out. Cause like I said before, me trying to show you what's going on under the truck while I'm doing it just is kind of a nightmare because I can't ever get the camera right where I want it to be. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. Everything is tightened up in place. This is kind of my final assembly here. You're gonna see how it all goes down through there. Everything is plugged in, hooked up, and Teflon taped and tightened up and all in there. I'm really happy with how that turned out. That came out really, really awesome. Once I raise the truck back up good where we can get under it, I'll kind of give you an idea what that looks like under there. But for now, let's move on to the next part of the process here. All right, so I know, first of all, I know I said 2-sided tape like 25 times instead of Teflon tape. I really have a good reason, except for I use 2-sided tape at work, and that's probably what was fresh on my mind. I'm not a moron. Obviously, I know what Teflon tape is. That's what I meant to say. I didn't say it. Kill me. Whatever. Anyhow, so, you know, you saw what my catastrophe was there. You saw where we wound up. Basically, you didn't get to see me wrap up the suspension, but I did get you some pictures in there. You could kind of see a little bit, for those of you with a keen eye, the modifications that we did make to the knuckles on both sides. Like I said, as soon as I get the truck where I can put it back up on the lift, we got a few things I got to do. I'm gonna kind of go more in depth on the things that I changed and what we had to do at that point. Sorry, unfortunately, we just got to kind of skip to where we are right now. You didn't get to see me run those front airlines either. There again, it is what it is. You're gonna see some of that when we run some of the more lines for the dash and things like that. Thank you for hanging in there. Sorry that I lost some really good content with a lot that I wanted to share. Hopefully it'll just keep your mouth wet to, you know, see it through and to see how it does come out. As always, thank y'all for hanging in there. This was a long one. If you made it to this point, thank you. I appreciate it a whole lot. I know the real ones, they watch to the end, and I know because y'all comment and you do send me messages and things, and I really appreciate it a lot. If you've hung in there this long, if you're not already a subscriber, now's a good time. The content is all absolutely free. All I ask you for is you click that little button, throw me a share with your buddies, tell some friends about the video, tell them to come on and come check it out too, so they can enjoy either the content that I'm putting out with you, and y'all can talk about, hey, this guy's kind of good at this, he's kind of good at that. Or if you think I'm an idiot, that's fine too. You can poke and with your buddies, you go, look at what this idiot is doing right now. I'm good with that too. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for coming back time and time again. This is episode 79, and man, we still got a long way to go. And it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. I promise you that. So we'll see you in the next one.